Hey guys, Penny here from Monaco Nail Academy, and today I'm joined by Michal
Hi.
and by Alicia,
Hi.
and we are hitting you with another one of our fairy episodes. We're going to be talking about biohazards because how freaking exciting! But that's kind of why we're doing it because it's boring. It's boring AF, and who wants to read about biohazards? No one. So why not pop this on in the car and absorb biohazards by osmosis? And either you're a theory student with us and it'll help with your study, or you're not, and hopefully you learn something anyway, or we keep you company on your commute. But either way, that's what we're doing today. And I'm super not excited, but excited because I really want to get this one over and done with so that we can move to the chemistry ones because the chemistry ones are so freaking fun and I cannot wait until we're in chemistry town.
And just a reminder before we get started to use my code Michal, Michil, for 10% off all courses. I get a kickback from these enrollments and they're how we support the production of the podcast.
I'm going to clarify Michal because when you tripped over it, it could have been an I, and then when you add in the Kiwi accent, we're just screwed from the start. Alicia, do you have a code?
I do. It is Alicia, Alisha.
Mint. Okay, cool. So let's jump straight into biohazards. Actually, no, let's not. Michal, what was the highlight of your week this week, like in the last 7 days?
You're just itching for me to say that it was coming to your house?
I actually wasn't. I have been finding this question for like the last hour, being like, no, we should start with something chatty and like have a nice conversation first. And then as I was saying the sentence, I realized that you were at my house in the last 7 days.
Yeah.
Genuine. But go
that was definitely super, super cool. It also made me really tired just because of people and being in an unusual place. But I also really enjoyed a spontaneous dog visit from your cute little pups.
I like how much they feature in your social media now.
Yeah, they're my new life. They also make me realize, like, I don't know, they give me a new sense of love for my own dog because I'm like, oh, all the
Because
dogs
mine
are
is
better.
so naughty.
No, they're so quiet.
Okay.
Yours are like angels compared to mine. But then it's just like when I just have my dog, I'm like, oh, he's such a cheeky bum.
Yeah. Could you guys not hear mine barking before? I was like, you can stay in the room. No, you're not.
The amount of editing that when Ashley edits the podcast, she's just having to cut my dogs out of the background. But why Michal was at my house was for something we nicknamed Midsummer Night's Dream, which is a Shakespeare reference for all the non-nerds out there. But because it was the halfway point between Summit 2025 and Summit 2026, so a few of us just had like a sleepover, basically, and played nails. And the benefit of it being at my house is that I was able to take breaks from people because, so Michal is like deep in it. You did have your own room. That's nice.
Yeah, that was nice.
You didn't you could have run off in the afternoon and had a chill, but
yeah.
For me, I was like, okay, the people here, I have enough people in the house that know me well enough that I can just disappear into the garden or go do some emails or something and have a break from humans for a minute.
But I also got to pick strawberries, so that was really cool.
Yeah, my entire backyard, I don't have grass. I only have strawberries, basically. I have gardens and all of my ground cover is strawberries. And I had seen one red one, and then next minute, Michal's got the entire kitchen colander filled with strawberries. What about Salon related? Have you had any wins for your little business?
It's been fairly quiet at the moment, just because I am also doing lots of casual work at the lab. But I'm keeping on top of all of my bills and everything, so that's nice to see that I am still making a profit, even when it feels quiet.
And you took out a loan from your own household finances to go full time, and now you've paid that back, right?
Yeah.
That is no small
thing. Amazing.
Yeah. So like from the start of when I was doing my course, like all of that's been paid off, everything's cleared up.
And so now you're profitable.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool. I don't know if you're into like business books and stuff, but the book Profit First by Mike, I want to say Wazowski. It's like Michalowicz. I'm looking on my shelf to try and there it is. Michalowicz. It's spelt funky, but it's incredible. And I listened to it as an audiobook, but then I bought the paper version because I wrote all through the paper version. But for anyone who's taking steps into this world, incredible. There's also a podcast now, but it's okay. It's not him on the podcast. It's like people from his company, like interviewing people. It's not as like the book is incredible.
Yeah.
And actually I did get onto it from hearing him guest on someone's podcast, and hearing him speak was great. But yeah, the book Profit First is real good. What about you, Alicia? What are your wins this week?
Oh, well, it's been quite a busy week actually, which is awesome. We had Afterpay finally come into the salon, which is a big win.
Amazing.
And I've done some very, very cool nail sets this week. So a few Halloween inspired nails, and I've worked with some very incredibly long natural nails thanks to BioHazards, which is cool.
So fun.
And what else has been going on?
You're forgetting something very big.
I am forgetting something very big. Mum passed her exam, so we're now moving on to her BioHazard side of the course.
So you're one of our training partners, which for those of you who don't know, we have training partners all around the country who are licensed or what's the word? Accredited to offer our courses within their own spaces. And Alicia is one of our training partners based in West Auckland. And yeah, she's at the moment working through teaching her own mum, which I think would be so hard. Like, no, thank you. I think me and my mum would clash so hard. What an interesting power dynamic, like to now be basically in charge of telling someone what to do when they have told you what to do for 2 decades.
We're a pretty laxed family, so I've been very fortunate that everything's run smoothly so far, at least.
But she passed her first exam. Well, technically second, because she already passed theory, but her first practical exam, which, again, for FYI's sake, because Alicia is what we refer to as a bronze training partner, she needs a gold training partner to monitor her assessments. So this isn't a case of like, okay, but like, of course Alicia passed her mum. No, she was stuck with me watching, and I'm very hard on making sure that people are keeping up Monaco's integrity. So her mum did pass with a genuine pass, and I think I was more excited for like Alicia to have that pass from a student kind of thing.
Yeah, so she's off into her BioHazard now. So she sits her first BioHazard lesson this afternoon.
That's awesome. So fun. I get so excited when I see training partner enrollments come through.
And she has her first shift on Saturday. She's got 3 plain gel manicures to do.
Wow, that's cool.
So exciting.
Yeah, so no, it's a cool week. There's been lots going on.
How fun. Okay. I don't have like a specific win, but I'll just chuck in anyway that it is getting busier and it's so freaking fun. Like, because being in a beach town, winter is like, I can do the same number of people in a week in winter that I will do in a day in summer. But the last few weeks I've been having some fully booked days, and like, so, yeah, and like not fully booked like where you are pretty full but there's like a 20-minute gap between everyone. Like, no, like chocker, like, which is my favorite. I do find it really interesting. People come in and they always, this is a pet peeve I've talked about before, but people come in, sit down and they go, have you been busy? And it's my least favorite question on the planet, because no one ever says, have you been happy? Like, why is busy the thing that, like, the measurement? But what's really interesting is when people sit down and ask that question in winter and I say no, they go like, oh gosh, like I stepped in it kind of thing. However, this past week when people go, have you been busy? And I say yes, they go, oh, Like, as if that's a bad thing. Like, no, it's good. And also, not busy is okay because I chose a flexible lifestyle where, like, the bills are paid. It's okay, guys. When I'm not busy, I'm still, now I'm reading and I'm in the garden and I'm doing projects for Monaco and, like, I don't have to be fully booked with clients. But yeah, I'm just really enjoying it getting real busy.
That's awesome. It is such a good feeling to be back to back and, you know, be having so much work, especially as you say, compared to winter. Winter's always a bit of a slow season for us, right?
Yeah.
So it's so nice to see it finally building up. I find doing late nights now, and it's still when I finish, it's like, oh, this is a good time of year.
Someone said the other day, like, oh, you were out late, the flag was out late. And I was like, yeah, it was. And she was like, oh, like, have you decided to do late nights? And I was like, bro, I have late nights available all the time. It's just no one has booked them because it's been winter. And even though evenings and weekends when I lived in Auckland were prime real estate, here people want their evenings and weekends free, and no one really works Monday to Friday 9 to 5. So actually daytimes are more popular. So that's why late night is usually empty. Okay, let's do these biohazards, and I don't want everyone to click off because we're going to make it fun, and it is important information, but let's do these biohazards. So, a biohazard, for anyone imagining like there's a fly buzzing around my microphone. For anyone that is imagining like in a cartoon with the like hazard thing on a big keg of like, I don't know, waste of some kind. Biohazards are biological substances, either organisms or organic materials produced by organisms, which means like living beings or poop, basically, right? Like Michal,
what I work with.
Yeah, we have like such a specialized, this is purely by chance, but we have such a specialized team on this podcast because Michal literally like is a scientist who specializes in these things, and then Alicia specializes in Russian manicures. So like the two of them combined are skin and bugs. I'm just here to like point them in the right direction. They'll take over.
Yeah, but you enjoy chemistry and I don't.
Oh, I cannot wait. But well, maybe you should be on chemistry because I will make you on it. Okay, so Michal, as our scientist, can you give us some examples of what biohazards might include?
Okay, so number one is you have parasites, which is something that I'm working on breeding in the lab. And these are things that will like have a host and they'll feed off you. And then
What
you
is
have
some
things
like real not lab example? Like what's something we know of that's a parasite?
ticks.
Okay, cool.
Or do you want something like nail related? Because I can't.
No, I just like I don't know if it counts as visual, but I just needed to be able to put that in my world. And I know what a tick is, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. They suck your blood.
At the time of recording, it's nearly Halloween, so vampires, like...
So it's perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
We have like bacteria and fungi, which are often like confused with each other. An example of bacteria on the nail plates would be Pseudomonas and
or greenies.
Yeah, greenies. We have viruses.
What about for the newbie nail techs, like a bacteria in real life? Non-nail.
You could have like a lung infection, which has bacteria growing in your lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And an example of a fungi would be like when you have peeling skin around your toes, which is also known as athlete's foot. And then we have viruses. These are also quite common in today's world with lots of colds and flus that go around.
And we all can name a virus because hello pandemic.
They also live on your computer.
And like, so the parasites, bacteria, fungi, like, yeah, okay, cool, there's like nail related things, but honestly, viruses too, because we are sitting like a foot and a half away from someone else. Like, we're in someone else's breathing space when we're doing nails. So the viruses are just as big of a hazard to us as nail techs as these things that can infect our skin and nails.
Totally.
Here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, if you have like a slight sniffle, do you like cancel or reschedule your clients, or do you still do it?
If it is a slight sniffle, like
Yeah.
the kind of thing that could be attributed to having been out in cold air, no. But if it's anything more than that, or if it's like sore throat, like anything more than that, I'll text everyone and be like, I'm letting you know that I have like a sore throat this morning. If you want to come in, I'm fine to work, but it's up to you. And then 80% will still come in.
Yeah, because for me that's really hard because I have like a genetic condition where I always like have those symptoms. So I guess like I never know whether it is actually a cold or something that can be like passed on, or if that's just my norm.
I mean, I don't think you have to like necessarily let everybody know. If you feel particularly sniffly, you could just say, "Hey, I'm just letting you know, like I have a condition that means I'm always sniffly, so don't
Yeah.
I'm not sick."
Yeah.
Or you could have a couple of cute masks in like a basket that's labeled clean and be like, I'm just letting you know that I have a genetic condition where I'm always sniffly, but if you're worried that it might not be that, I've got masks here for you. And then
Yeah,
each
that's a
one,
good idea.
after they've used it, it goes into like, for me, it would be my hot towel like hamper where the dirty hot towels go.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, as our skin expert, Alicia, how are these hazards getting us?
Well, there's three main ways that they can come into contact with you. One being through the respiratory system, so obviously breathing it in, like we've just talked about masks. So I think having masks available to your clients as well as you is always a good idea, and having proper ventilation is, I mean, it's not necessary to wear a mask, obviously, but I think having proper ventilation in a salon space where you are working so close to people is always a good idea.
What are some examples of proper ventilation?
So you have tabletop dust collectors, you have the built-in dust collectors. If you have, say, a big commercial space, you could have full built-in ventilation systems. And otherwise, just keeping your doors and your windows open to keep airflow going.
Sometimes I get students panicking about like, what extraction unit am I supposed to install in the side of my house? Like, I'm literally, my desk is next to an open window.
Yeah. Mine's the same. We have an open window, and then in summer we have the door open, and then I've got a tabletop dust collector.
I have that too, but yeah, like.
Yeah, I think having those things combined with fresh air running through is great. Another thing can be, just your classic aircon, but it doesn't really, it kind of just pushes the air around, right? It doesn't really suck it all up like a ventilation system would.
Yeah. And some of the commercial systems, like you can get ceiling mounted ones that cycle the air. However, what a ceiling mounted one and even a wall mounted one is doing is then stopping the dust from settling. So like the fumes are going away. Well, it's not fumes, it's like the odor is going away.
Yeah.
But also the dust is staying in the air for longer. So it's kind of putting you more at risk, but from something different.
Yeah, exactly.
The funny thing is that like you think that the dust and stuff will immediately fall down, but like what I noticed the other day in your salon when I was using too much pigment is that the pigment was like floating up.
Yeah.
It was like making smoky trails up, and I was like, that is all going into your face.
Well, if you think about it, like on a not microscopic, but like on a low level, all the air is being moved by you. If you move your hand from left to right, air has to fill the space that your hand was just in. So you are creating suction, like you are making the all of the air in the room really has to now move to fill that space, and then fill the space left behind that, and so on. And then your breath, you just breathing in, is going to create an upflow. And it's not going to be drastic like a system that sucks 900 liters of air an hour or whatever, but movement is happening and air is following that movement. So yeah, and like with the extractor that I have, when you're filing, you can watch it float up and then turn around and go into the unit.
It is very, very cool. All right, so with that covered, the other way would be through broken skin, so cuts or punctures that allow pathogens into the bloodstream. So this is another way to make sure that your tools are properly disinfected. Because if there's anything, say you nicked a client a few days ago and you only sanitized but you didn't disinfect them, if you then go and trim someone else's cuticles, that if you technically, even if you're not cutting living tissue when you're doing something like a Russian manicure, you are creating what we call little microcuts. And they still allow for bacteria to get in. So if those tools aren't disinfected properly or sterilized properly, then you can just be transferring what that previous person had into the next person.
And like, Michal, how long is that stuff living on, say, a cuticle pusher?
I don't know. Sorry.
Great. I love that. I love the honesty.
Probably a long time. Like, it's not just like, 24 hours and then it's dead, because like there are certain things that we use to kill it, like heat or chemicals. So without that, it could probably sit there for like weeks.
Wow.
So no room for leniency.
No. So then the other one would be swallowing. And now I know that sounds really funny in the sense of a nail salon, because
I am not chugging my monomer.
Yeah, you think that's it, right? You're not thinking, I'm not just, swallowing everything. And that's true. However, we're all prone to it, right? You get a little bit of polish on the skin, you grab your finger and you just wipe it off. Things like that. If that skin wasn't cleaned properly, whatever it is, then you go and you haven't washed your hands properly later and you quickly eat something in between your next client. Suddenly in your system, things like water bottles, if they aren't closed lid, any sort of biohazards, that sort of thing that can drop on there. Correct? Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%.
And then you go and drink out of that water bottle. So it's so important to make sure that things like open teas and coffees aren't kept directly on the table while you're working. They should be kept like in a trolley on the side. And your water bottle throughout the day, maybe on a table behind you, or that sort of thing, or just make sure it has a lid.
Yeah, or at least just be aware that that's what you're risking. Like, you want to do what you want to do, go ahead, I don't care, but at least we told you that this is the risk. Like, if you think about it, you're filing someone's natural nail, right? You're shortening 10 nails, maybe they were long and they're going short, there's quite a bit of dust being created. All of that dust is their nail and whatever was under their nail as well. Now, as just discussed, that dust is flying through the air, even if most of it is going into a dust extractor, but that dust is flying through the air. Some of it is going to land on you. So let's say 10 minutes later, you scratch your arm, totally absent-mindedly, there's just a little itch and you quickly scratch your arm. Then say half an hour after that, you're sitting between clients and you've just got an email that stresses you out or something, and you like lean down and you nibble on your nail. Now, whatever was under that person's nail is in your mouth. That's swallowing. Like, that is, you are still swallowing pathogens because of that train. So this is about being like, okay, cool. So we're still going to file people's nails, but we are absolutely going to get them to wash their hands first, and then we're going to sanitize their hands before we file their nails. Now at least we've eliminated some of the risk. Now when that lands on us, after the client, we're going to have washed our own hands, and you should always go up as high as your clothing goes. And maybe you were wearing gloves, so when you did scratch your arm, like, there was nothing under your nail. And then, like, it's what what you can do to mitigate the risk.
Yeah.
Because you can't see any of these biohazards. Like, they're so small, you need to like see them under like a super high magnification under a microscope, and we're not doing that. But like, one of the warnings I had in the lab was that the worms, they can burrow into your skin if it lands on you. You're not going to feel it, you're not going to see it, but like they could enter your system.
Yeah.
And you don't know like where your clients have come from either. Like they could have just come from the farm and then they're here to do like get their nails done.
Well, myself
like,
and Michal, we're both rural, and I have share milker clients that will
yeah.
come straight to me from milking a cow with literal poop under their nails.
Yes.
Things to be cautious of, right?
Yeah. So with the biohazards, it can end up with an infection, like Michal covered off infections that we can get. Some of them can be allergies instead. So you might be allergic to certain like fungi or certain proteins, so you might have an allergic reaction. And then in other cases, biohazards, it might actually be a case of poisoning because of the amount of a biohazard that you have consumed. That is going to be way less likely in a nail scenario. We're mostly going to be dealing with infections, but those things are all possible when you're dealing with, but like more so with like Michal's lab job. But like those things are, but it's not just someone sneezes and then you breathe it in. Like we are dealing with things that not everybody is thinking about. Like you don't know what you don't know. So you're not going into a nail salon as Joe Public, getting your nails done and thinking about the fact that at some point later in the day, the whatever's under your nails right now is going to end up in your nail tech's mouth. Like you're just not considering that.
No.
So we're just trying to get you guys to consider what you're dealing with as a nail tech so that you can manage it. Not so that you get scared and don't be a nail tech, just so that you can manage it, because everything is manageable.
Yeah.
Have you seen those videos where they like swab different surfaces in your house and then they like grow it on a petri dish?
I mean, I have, but I also specifically try and avoid those. Okay, so let's cover off just a couple more examples of how biohazards might find us in the salon specifically, since we're not in poop labs with Michal. So can you guys give me a couple of specific examples that would occur in the salon?
Go for it, Alicia.
Okay. So blood exposure would be, just a small cut during the manicure or from an injury on the client's skin, because blood can carry bloodborne pathogens. So even like I was saying before, with just those tiny little microcuts we make, we have to be so, so careful because they can enter that way.
And there are like different levels of open wounds, right?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
So your risk changes whether or not it's like an old wound that is it's scabbed up, but it's so close to healed, or a fresher wound that has just scabbed, or one that is actively bleeding. Like you're going to have different risk levels.
Yeah. So highest risk would be that, as you come into contact with the blood, you also say punch yourself. And I know that that's a super unlikely scenario in our minds, but you could be going to trim the client's nails or use the cuticle pusher, and you just so happen to slip and it creates a small wound on you both. And that would be a very high risk of contamination and that sort of scenario.
Things have happened.
Yeah, exactly. It's not never going to happen. It can happen, totally.
What are some other than cutting a client, because obviously we're all trying not to do that, what else are we aware of in salon?
Clients that like have picked the skin around their nails, like if they're a nail biter.
Yes.
That's a good
they often have like open bits of skin around them.
Because it's not just us cutting them, they can come in pre-cut.
Yeah.
Sometimes I say, oh, like your nails are too bad, I don't want to work on them. And other times, if it doesn't look like a fresh wound, then I'll just like I'm always wearing gloves, but I will like work around it carefully.
Yeah, you have to be careful. And if someone does come in with already they're already bleeding or they've already got cuts around their skin, then that brings us back to tools, right? You need to make sure that your tools are being disinfected properly in between every single person, as well as your space and your table.
Yeah, because your tools they're in contact with the bodily fluids, they're in contact with the skin particles, they're in contact with what's under the nail, they're in contact with sneeze particles. Like, your tools are nasty.
Yeah.
It's why I disinfect like all of my surfaces, like between clients I try if I can, but at the end of each day, because I know even if I'm in here without clients, it's like I'll be coughing or like I'm touching things and not being as aware. So I like to make sure that I have disinfected all the surfaces each day.
Yeah.
And like we're talking about the risk levels with blood, but what's actually in there that we are avoiding?
We're worried about hepatitis B being the most likely to spread. So that would be your highest risk out of a bloodborne pathogen. Then you've got hepatitis C, and then you're least likely in these scenarios, but HIV and AIDS are also something to keep in mind.
You guys are so young compared to me, but when I was a kid, it was like HIV was something everyone was hyper aware of. It was extremely like over publicized in the media. People with HIV were news. Like, it was a whole thing.
Imagine.
Pardon?
I can imagine, yeah.
It was like crazy. Like, so like the biggest kids TV show was Son of a Gun with Jason Gunn and Thingy the puppet. And then they had this girl, Eve. Like, me now, as a 39-year-old woman, I know that the girl's name was Eve, and she was like famous, but she had HIV, and she would go on the show, and they were a big part of like what's the word? Like, stigmatizing HIV and stuff. But like, I think anyone in my age group would be genuinely quite surprised that HIV is not the highest risk, because it was such a big deal when we were kids.
Yeah.
But actually, it's really hard to get.
Yeah, exactly.
Compared to other stuff. I mean, anyone with HIV is like, tell that to my bloodstream. But like, to like, Hep B is so much easier to transmit.
Did you have to change anything in your salon like during COVID?
Oh yeah, because you weren't a nail tech during COVID.
No.
That's a good point.
You go, Alicia.
Well, I worked for someone else at the time, and we couldn't work until it was
level 2.
Level 2, yeah. And then
4 and 3 we were banned.
Yes, yeah. So when it came to level 2, we had to, one, have everyone sign in at the door using the QR code that they had set up. We had to wear masks. We had to completely disinfect everything in between everyone. So I'm talking wiping down the chairs, like the FPOS machine, absolutely everything. Little things you don't think about until that situation comes.
And there were companies selling these. It's so weird that this is the context we're talking about it now. Like, how nice, because sometimes it feels like yesterday, but it was literally 5 years ago, and it's so nice to be like, back in my day, this is how it was, to someone who never experienced it. That's so nice. There were businesses selling these massive, at the bank you can only pay through a slot, and there's like the big bulletproof glass thing protecting that, but like obviously not bulletproof, but they fit over the lamp, and people put their hand through the bottom, and like you can, like, I never got one because I literally was like, I'm gonna wear my mask and my gloves and risk it. Like, I can't deal with this. But like, yeah, people were, and then there was these hat things like that folded like a sun visor, but it folds down in front of your whole face as if you're dealing with like, I don't know, like a freaking, I don't know, like a disaster. I guess we were. That's why I was trying to work out what word to use. But like, yeah, these visors that went down in front of your face, I didn't use those either. But I did what Alicia did, and I had you had to wear a mask, you had
Yeah.
to wear gloves, you had to get people to sign in, and then I just disinfected everything. But a lot of people definitely.
Yeah.
And the biggest change since then is that now anytime someone has a tiny cough or sniffle, they're like, I'm not sick.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I found it more interesting because I was a tattoo apprentice at the time as well. So I was doing both nails and tattoos part-time. And the difference in working at the nail salon compared to working at the tattoo shop during COVID times was an extreme difference. Obviously, we are going into people's skin, so that makes sense. But just those higher precautions, right? And it totally depends on your line of work. But just, things like making sure everyone's signed in, getting them to sign a waiver that they haven't been sick in the last few days.
Yeah.
And really taking extra precaution that everything we were using in the tattoo side of things was single use, and with nails, what we could use was single use as well. And things like mopping the floors way more often than you usually would. Usually it would be like every couple of days, but it was like every day. You need to make sure that you're taking every precaution possible. So it was a big change.
Although I will say there was such a difference because I did the first half of the pandemic in Auckland and the second half of the pandemic here, and people down here, by comparison, did not give a shit. Like, there were no masks. No, they were like, it's fine.
The salty air will fix everything, right?
The bubbles here were like multiple streets because it's such a small town that you've got like, say, a family where the parents have separated, so now there's a custody thing, right? Like 50-50 care. But now each of those parents has like a bubble with their neighbor. Like basically the town was a bubble.
Yeah.
There was like a way to make a connection with everybody, which I didn't know because I was kind of new here. So I sat by myself, and then after, when I started seeing clients, they're like, we were having parties. What are you talking about? Like, and the other thing is we were mandated to get vaccinated before we could work again once mandates were a thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was an interesting side of things because I had a relatively bad reaction to the first vaccine. And I had to have 2 to be able to go back to work. And I was shit scared. I was like, oh, I don't really want to get a second one. Not like I've ever had any issues with vaccines before, but it knocked me off my trolley. I didn't have to go back to the hospital, but they did watch over me for a while. And so when I went back for the second one, they had like all of these precaution lists and that sort of thing, and I had to stay for 2 hours or whatever it was.
What was interesting here is that so I got the first vaccine. And then we were, by the time my second one was due, we were out of the mandate. Like I just slipped.
Oh, really?
However, having had the first vaccine, so the other thing about where I live is that there's a higher proportion of like free spirits, shall we say. And there were some people who stopped coming to me because I was vaccinated.
Really?
Yeah. Not many, but it was a thing.
Yeah.
People asking it, or you having to be really careful about whether or not I just didn't discuss the vaccine at all because they might not come if I am, or they might not come if I'm not. So let's just not talk about it, kind of thing. It was a whole.
I did learn that pretty quickly. I also, for anyone who knows their way around Auckland, the tattoo shop I worked at was in Titirangi, where I guess you could also say there's a lot of
high free spirit zone, definitely.
So the coffee shop guy who worked next to the tattoo shop actually had a whole system set up from his counter that he could shoot the coffees down to the person with the EFTPOS machine so that he didn't get in contact with them. Yeah.
Interesting. Whereas we just had I don't know if this throws people under the bus, but we had the bottle store guy delivering booze on his bike and Okay, so we've covered some very extreme ways to avoid a very specific biohazard, but In addition to the sanitization and disinfection that Alicia touched on before, and we've already done a whole episode on that, but in addition to that, what are some ways, if we haven't lost all of our listeners because they're so over COVID, what are some ways that we can also prevent exposure to biohazards in the current 2025 Salon?
I would cover like any broken skin or cuts with plasters. I have some in a
On you or your client?
well, my clients, if they have cuts on them, I don't have cuts on my own fingers.
Or what if you do?
I would put a plaster on, but like no one's gonna see it under the gloves.
Okay, valid. Gloves. Okay.
Yeah.
Although I get holes in my gloves all the time because like where my finger would get filed, my glove gets filed, and that depending on what kind of set I'm doing, if there's a lot of finish filing, there's certain cuts that I would put a plaster on anyway under gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have plasters in a drawer beside me, and also like antiseptic cream, that kind of thing.
Have you ever had to use it?
Not the cream, but I've had people walk in with cuts, like they didn't even realize they were bleeding, and I was like, I got blood on my gloves, and I was like, ah. So I switched it out.
I mean, speaking of gloves, it's best to protect yourself as much as possible where you can, right? So making sure that if your client comes in with any existing cuts, you are plastering them up. If it's happened while you were doing the nails, that you apply antiseptic. You bandage it up, you no longer work on it, you disinfect everything, you bag any porous tools and throw them out, and just keep yourself safe where you can.
And with gloves as well, like making sure that you're wearing the right kind of gloves, because you can get nitrile, vinyl, or latex. Vinyl is not as durable. We want nitrile. Vinyl's not as durable. It's way more prone to tearing. So then Michal's going to get all infected by her non-plaster wearing hands because her gloves are going to rip off. But yeah, they're way more prone to tearing, and also the chemicals we use, just even iso and acetone and stuff, will like completely deteriorate them and they just disintegrate. And then you can get latex gloves, but allergies are really common at varying degrees. I've had multiple clients with latex allergies. One of them particularly severe. So that would have been a no-go, because even if I wasn't wearing them, the one who had a severe allergy would have been at risk by even like if I had moved one. Like she was crazy allergic. So just having no latex in the salon where possible. But also they're not as resistant to the chemicals. Again, they are more prone to breaking down, and they're more prone to breaking down when exposed to oil as well. So nitrile is just a better, more durable glove. They don't break down in the same way when exposed to our chemicals that we use, and they're less likely to puncture.
I have never broken a glove. Like,
Seriously?
yeah.
I break gloves weekly.
I break
Wow.
the glove like every day when I'm.
Yeah, I say weekly, but it's weekly because of the specific type. Like I do a lot of builder in a bottle with very little finish filing, and so for those I'm less. But if I'm doing a set of acrylic, I'm going to break my glove.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I'm backfilling builder gel and that sort of thing, I will definitely usually file my glove. Especially if the client has quite long nails, I'm usually somehow aiming the file at my thumb.
Yeah, and like at my pointer finger, because I'm usually using my pointer finger to pull their lateral down.
Yeah.
So that I can file into the sidewall without cutting them. And so therefore I'm by proxy filing my glove.
Yeah, and I also sometimes file my sidewalls off.
Yeah. I used to always have like multiple layers of correction gel on my left hand pointer finger, just because one time I filed right through it and it was no good time.
Wow.
If your client is bleeding, whether it's you've cut them or maybe they came in with a cut and then when you buffed over it, it like broke open, or you didn't realize how dry their skin was. And I think there's quite a stigma around like There's a lot of people that go like, I would never cut a client. I have never cut a client. Like, it's never happened. But like, it's not about, like, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you have a client with really dry skin, and literally the second that you buff, something that wouldn't even make a difference to one person can make another person bleed. Is like, was it avoidable? Sure, you could have judged that the skin was too dry and that maybe it wasn't the best day to do their nails or whatever, but sometimes shit happens, and it doesn't mean that you were so negligent that you like sliced someone open. Do you are going to deal with bodily fluids from time to time. I don't know, like, how do you, like, Alicia, you're skin specialized. How do you feel about the whole stigma around cutting people?
We all make mistakes. And we can do the best we can, and we can judge everything as well as we can, but especially with specializing in Russian manicures, we all make mistakes. So it's knowing how to handle them correctly, I think is very important. So if you start working with a client and you already notice that they have a cut or a wound, really just avoid contact with blood or bodily fluids. I know it sounds obvious, but it's easy to forget.
Well, like, because if it was like your kid or something and you see blood, like, you're literally gonna, like, a mozzie bite or something, you're literally gonna just grab your thumb and like wipe it off.
Yeah.
Like, it's instinctive.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if a client is bleeding, especially when they come in, ask them to use a clean gauze wipe from your first aid kit to stop the bleeding. That then avoids you touching it, even if you are wearing gloves. Make sure that the used wipe is placed in a sealable bag and being disposed of directly, preferably in an outside bin as well. If you are wearing gloves, after that has been done and you've touched the dirty gauze, make sure you're removing them properly. So make sure that you're turning your gloves inside out as you take them off and dispose of them immediately in a designed waste bin. So again, like a double bag situation, and preferably in an outside bin, and that prevents the cross contamination, and it helps you to maintain a clean environment as well, because in that situation you really need to keep your environment clean the whole time.
You think you haven't touched blood, but like, my gloves are black. Like, I'm not gonna know if there's blood on there. And I tell you what, when, like, for the time it takes and the cost of changing my gloves, if I had a disease that I contracted from like exposure to someone else's bodily fluid, I'm gonna wish I changed my freaking gloves. It's not that hard.
It's a small cost and it only takes a second, and you'd rather be protected, right?
Exactly.
Do you change your gloves as soon as you notice that there's a break in them?
Yeah, 100%. Okay, with the disclaimer that if I'm up to like top coat, no. Because if I'm up to like top coat or the last little bits of nail art, then there's no blood risk anymore at all, because I don't have tools out.
Yeah.
My risk is
all the other biohazards still.
Yes, but my highest risk in that moment is my allergy to nail products. And if it's literally a hole in one finger, I'm just gonna finish it.
Yeah,
I'm
bad for this. If I am filing, like if I'm up to a finished filing point of view, because I even usually, depending on the design I'm doing, I'll finish file the edge when I'm done, which I know is completely a Russian style technique. And if I have a break in my glove, I do not change them at that point of the service, right? I think we try to do the best we can, and this is reminding me that I need to change them more often. Thank you, Michal.
But also, if I take my gloves off, when I take my gloves off after a client, I've got a pump sanitizer mounted on the wall next to me, like a foam one that I will sanitize with after the client as well. So, actually, it leads into what I wanted to say a second ago as well, anyway, because all of this stuff we're telling you, none of us are gonna, okay, if I walk into a salon and you're clearly using a file that you just picked up off the floor that like is like, there's clearly no sanitization like, if I walk into a disgusting place, yes, I'm gonna judge you, but a lot of this stuff is like, okay, you're the one at risk. As long as you're not putting your client at risk, Like, do what you want to do. Like, if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. I don't like wearing masks. So for me, the payoff of things that I can breathe in or swallow that a mask would prevent, I'm okay to take that risk because I don't want to wear a mask. For years, I didn't wear gloves. I don't like wearing gloves. I started wearing them because of my allergy and the dermatitis I was getting, kept wearing them because of COVID, and then now I can't not wear them. Now it feels really weird to be skin on skin with someone. But yeah, so like if you really want, you can have a mask, a face shield, protective eyewear. My kit for my nail tech course 18 years ago came with safety glasses.
Yeah.
Which
So,
you
like,
need because you don't want toenails flicking into your eyes like I've had.
yeah, or like when you're lifting on a full set of acrylic and you're brand new, so you are lifting, like, yeah. So you can go ahead, you can get the Perspex screen, you can get all of the bits and pieces, and like, I will never ever judge someone for being too clean. Like, do what you have to do to protect yourself and your client, but also at the same time, if you're choosing not to do all those things, just be aware of the risk.
Yeah, totally. And I guess another thing you can consider as well, if you're very, very worried about blood, is you can consider immunization against hepatitis B as part of your protection. Again, that's a personal choice, and it's up to you how many measures you want to take to prevent anything happening.
Yeah, like if someone's already immunocompromised or something, that might be really high on their priority list. Like, for me, between sanitizing and gloves and all the things I do, I'm like, I feel like I'm pretty low risk in that way. Okay, so say worst case scenario that we've done all those things, but something happens and you get blood on your skin. Michal, what are we going to do? Worst case, there's blood on us, it's touching us. What do we do?
This makes me think of the blood spill drills that you have like in all of your modules. And my brain immediately goes to stop, drop, and roll, which is the wrong thing, but it does help me to remember. Because, if it was on my skin, I would have to wash it off immediately. And like
with
it's not
soap, lazy people, with soap.
It's not my cut, right? It's from the client.
There is, it's not your blood. Someone else's blood is on you.
Yeah, and I would also just feel like I would tell my client that I'm going to go wash my hands, which is not in my salon. It's in like the bathrooms. It's separate, and like also try and what's the word? Not appease, but like make sure that they don't freak out, because like I'm internally freaking out, but I don't want them to, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think you have to keep people aware that a bad thing has happened, right? But you know exactly what to do. You know how to minimize those risks, and there is no need to freak out. So you want to show your client that you have confidence and you know what to do. Like, I have the blood spill drill printed out in my sterilization room, which is attached to the salon. And everyone's here, so everyone can read it. It's right there. I know exactly what to do. No one's going to freak out. And I think if you calmly explain, look, I'm going to go wash my hands with soap first, and then I'm going to get you to take this clean gauze pad and hold pressure on the wound. And then you can come back to it. You can apply your antiseptic. You can bandage it up. You wear gloves for the remainder of the service. And, you don't work on that finger. And in that case, I think you would also, I know we're talking more about us than the client, but, you would offer them either a discounted service and get them to come back in a few days and check in how
you cut them.
If you cut them, yes. Seek medical advice, because if you think you're at risk of infection, say the blood that you got on you from your client, you had nicks on your skin, definitely seek medical advice in that case.
Be so careful with your eyes, because people don't realize, like, the way that biohazards get in are like all of the orifices. You can breathe it in, that's your nose. You can swallow it, that's your mouth. But your eyeballs are also like a direct line of contact into your bloodstream. So if you have if you think there's a chance that with blood on your hands you rubbed your eyes or anything like that, like rinse your eyes out, take your contacts out if you wear contacts, like just think about the things that aren't being thought about.
Yeah. Always have an eye wash kit in your first aid kit.
And like how Michal was saying, like she wanted to appease or whatever the word we chose was with her clients, but like if someone sees blood on your hands and has a problem with you going and washing your hands,
it's a bit strange.
Like, next, no thank you. If you have a problem that I went and washed your blood off me, bye-bye.
Yeah.
And like also if someone's like, oh, it's fine, like I don't have anything. Well, okay, but the client, I've talked about a client before on the pod that had HIV, but got it when they traced it back. She got it 5 years before she was aware she had it. So you can tell me right now that you don't have anything, but you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And like
I had someone at my old work, they cut themselves in the kitchen, like prepping food, and an incident report didn't get filled out or anything, but a week later she was in a hospital. She had like all these, like something creeping up her arm. That's what it looked like.
color, you mean? Like
a rat?
Yeah, it was like her veins started turning black, like up her arm, because she had some blood condition that she didn't know about, but it started because of that cut.
Yeah.
So like that's another reason why it's also like important to note down somewhere, like if you have caused a cut to your client, because who knows, they could end up in hospital and need to trace it back to something.
Yeah.
That is disgusting. I think this has been a good chat. I think like if I was learning theory and I had to try and understand biohazards, not to toot our own horns, but like I would way rather listen to this episode than have to read everything.
Yeah, totally.
So what have you guys got coming up this week?
Not a very exciting week, actually.
Oh, it's my birthday.
Oh,
exciting.
When's your birthday?
On Thursday.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So going out for dinner with friends, and my husband has taken the day off of work, so we're going to spend the day in Cambridge as well. So it'll be nice.
Lovely.
Yeah.
What are your not exciting things, Alicia?
Well, I have to get an endoscopy.
That's very not exciting.
No, on Wednesday.
You watch out for biohazards.
Yeah.
And then I have to go back to work on Thursday, and then I've got we're doing a market, so nails at a market on Sunday, so it's just a hectic week, and then I fly to Rarotonga the following day. So
that's exciting. You said not exciting.
It's exciting, but there's like so much going on that I'm almost already stressing, and we're not even in next week yet.
Yeah. What kind of market is it? Are you doing nails for like walk-ups?
Yes, so it's a women's wellness market, and it's purely based around women-owned businesses.
That's cool.
So we're just gonna do set up a table and then take walk-ups and do some fun nails, make people feel special.
With gel or traditional polish?
So I do not work with traditional polish.
Yeah.
So gel manicures, builder gel, and gel extensions.
Have you seen the space?
Well, yes and no. It's at the community hall in Mission Bay, and we've got an indoor table.
Because let me tell you, one time we got hired to do a hens party. It was 30 people. I was just brand new full time, and I trained my mum to do a gel manicure, and I had one trainee. Like she was mid-course and she was my first ever trainee. So the two of them came with me to try and manage it. And when we got there, ready to set up, they had put us in a conservatory. Glass ceiling, glass walls, glass everything. And we were like, is there anywhere else we could be, and the whole party was set up. People were like, half the, the bridal party was there setting up. That's like, I don't know, half the party was there. They're like, no, there's not. And I went through, we had everything, we were holding it under the table as we were trying to work, and then like we went through like 4 top coats each. Like, luckily I had so much stuff with me, but like everything was just going solid. That was a nightmare.
Good to think about. Okay.
Yeah, because even a community hall has a window, and one of those tables is going to have sunshine on it.
Yes, yep. So I did specifically ask that it has to be out of sunlight, and I know the owner, I've met her now. So we tried to work it out as best we can. So fingers crossed it goes well, but you always have to expect a few hiccups when you're doing something like that for the first time.
So
and I
other than
my mother along so she can help try manage everything, but she has refused to work.
Oh,
yeah,
She's like,
such good experience.
right, but she's like, no, I don't want to do that. You can just do the nails and I will take bookings and payments.
So other than doing nails, what else are you doing to capture interest at the market?
So we are going to have all of the retail stock there as well. And I think I'm just going to do my best with the small space that we have to make everything look welcoming and pretty.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, I would love a suggestion.
Okay, so the best thing that I have ever done at any market, any expo, anything like this is run a giveaway. So either a hamper, or like, hampers are good because they're visual. But also manicures are good because they're free.
Yes.
But if you can do something to make it visual, all you need is someone's name and their email address, and a little disclaimer at the back or bottom of the form that you've printed out yourself saying you will not be added to a mailing list. We will email you to tell you if you have won. Right? So people are more likely to enter because you're not adding, or you can say, FYI, you're going to be added to a mailing list. Like, as long as you disclaimer it. But so your mum's job is to get every single person who walks past the stall to go like, hey, do you want to enter to win a free manicure? Yeah, hell yes, I do. And then like, say you might even do that, like once they fill it out, they get like a little freaking lollipop or some shit, because adults don't get given enough lollipops.
I thought of doing, so what we have done is the owner of the event has taken, so I've put a free manicure voucher, and what she did is each day she hides another voucher around town.
Yeah.
And people have to find it. So my voucher got found in 25 minutes.
That's so cool.
So there is that, but I also thought about doing, like when it's someone's birthday, when it's a client's birthday in the salon, I do a little birthday bag that has a mini hand scrub and that sort of stuff. So I thought I might do those for the first.
Well, okay, but here's also what you're going to do with the giveaway if you go ahead with this idea, right? Yeah. So your mum says, do you want to enter to win a free manicure? And they go, oh, and she goes, you get a lollipop for filling out the form. Instantly, half of the no's or the maybes become yeses, because everyone wants a lollipop. So now you've got their name and their email address. That all goes in a jar, and at the end of the day, you draw one person out, they win a free manicure. Great. However, so you email that person with their free manicure, and you say, by the way, if you follow me on Instagram, you get an add-on of free nail art. Cool, done. They follow you on Instagram, now they're getting both. With every other person whose details you got, you email them individually and be like, hey, it's Alicia. It was so nice to meet you on Saturday at the market. I just wanted to let you know that the winner was a lovely lady named Jan. But what I did want to do is offer whether or not you wanted to book in with a friend for a 2-for-1. And this is exclusive to the market. It has to be booked in within the next week, but it can be for any date within the next 3 months. But it's 2 for the price of 1. And if you pop over and follow me on Instagram, you both get free nail art. And so now,
good idea.
Because so basically you've opened up a dialogue with them, you've emailed them individually, you've used their name, you've like been personal about it. Now you have a dialogue with them. Now they remember you, and now they specifically remember your salon name, because no freaking way did they remember your salon name as they went past a market looking to buy like a coffee. Like, there's no way they remember you.
I'm
So
writing them.
now they know exactly who you are because you've emailed them. Also, they now follow you on Instagram, so they're going to keep remembering who you are. And then when they book in with a friend, they're now bringing a whole other person to expose to you. So instead of being exposed to that one person, you're now being exposed to two. And those two people are now getting a proper, full experience of what it's like to be with you. And Bob's your uncle, you've had 10, 20 word of mouth people over the space of the next 3 months. And if you're already full, fine, like not necessarily you specifically, but anyone listening, great. But this would be where all of those people went with your mum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, just don't waste an opportunity at a market. You've got to capture details.
Awesome. My brain did not even go there. So that's amazing. I'm going to take all of that into account. Thank you, Penny.
Yes.
And if you did offer like traditional polish, you could also do quick manicures on kids. Like, I guess they might not be at a woman's wellness market, but like a mum might be taking their child and the child is going to be like, can I get my nails done?
You know what I would do is I would just take pink glitter, traditional polish, the only one, and I would not offer kids manicures because my benefit is that if I'm doing an incredible manicure as you walk past and mum draws you in to fill out the form, now you're going to look over and be like, what the, my last nail tech couldn't do that. Great. I want you to be watching me doing the best work I can do.
Yeah.
However, if there's no bum in my seat, mum's job is now to grab the very next kid and do you want free sparkles on your nails?
Yeah.
And they don't get to choose a color. You're putting some pink on, but it's bringing someone to the stall because mum's with her. I don't want your money. I don't want to have to deal with you choosing a color. I don't want to deal with you chipping it. I'm offering to dab some sparkles on your finger so that your mum will look at me.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't charge for it. I don't want to have to do a chargeable job.
Yeah.
I just want to talk to your mum.
Yeah. That's a great way of putting it. I'm not, now I know this might change with.
Wait, one tangent thought, because it will go out of my brain. You've got pink neon lights in your salon, so I would make it pink sparkles so that I can say to the kid, I chose pink because it matches my salon because I've got pink lights in my salon. Isn't that cool? And now the adult is imagining your salon. So now you've got a sensory connection to them. Anyways, continue.
What was I going to say? I don't know if this will come with time, but I have zero maternal instinct in me. And I have tried doing kids, and I don't know how to talk to kids at all.
This is why you need a thing.
And I can't do, like, I have tried to do traditional polish manicures on children, and I don't have the patience. I feel terrible about it, but I really don't. Like, they move their hands around, and I'm just like, what? What do you, no, stay still. Like, you can't be moving. So I think that just having sparkles and just, like, dabbing it on your kid's fingers is a great idea.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of lying to children. So if I have to do a kid's manicure, I'll say to them, like, it's really important that your fingers don't touch each other for the next 5 minutes. When this timer goes off, your fingers can touch each other. But if they touch each other before then, they're going to stick together. There's a chance they'll stick together. They won't do it.
Just lie to children. Got it.
Yeah. Or put their hand in the lamp. They want to put their hand in the lamp because they've seen mum do it.
Yeah.
Do nothing. But you know what it'll do? Keep it still. And I'll say, be careful that you don't move inside the lamp or it won't work. Honestly, just lie to children. I'm not going to lie to, like, important children about important things. But if it stops me having to redo their nails, I will lie to them.
Yeah. No, it's a great point. My partner was at me for not. He's like, why would you just talk to that child like an adult? And I'm like, well, how else am I meant to talk to them? And he just has it. Like, he can just deal with children. He grew up around children. I can't do that.
I tell you, I would way rather talk to a 4-year-old than a 14-year-old. I can't talk to the teenagers. I'm like, I know I'm not cool.
Yeah.
And I can't make myself cool the way I can make myself cool to a 4-year-old because I own sparkles and that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Like, I am not cool and I don't know what's cool and I don't know what half the words that you use mean. Like, how's school? What do you want to be when you grow up? Oh God, now I am every adult I hated as a teenager.
I love it when I'm talking to a teenager, like doing ball nails or something, and I'm asking about things, and they go, "So when did you go to school?" And then I'm literally like, I was at school like 4 years ago," and they're like, "Oh, oh, okay. Wait, how old are you?" And then I'm like 19, and they're like, "Oh, you're not that much older than me." And I'm like, "No, but I still don't understand what you're talking about because
Yeah.
growing
Yeah.
up differently."
100%. Okay, so that's what Alicia's going to do to build her business this week. Michal, what are you going to do to push yourself outside your comfort zone?
Oh, I haven't thought about that.
No birthday excuses.
I really need to push for more Christmas bookings.
Awesome.
Yeah,
How?
put out my policies properly, which I've written up. I just slowly putting them out.
Policies don't make money, they just stop loss of money.
Stop loss of what?
Policies don't make you money, they just stop
No.
the loss of money. They stop people screwing you over and getting mad and never rebooking, but they're not going to make someone book. How can you
No.
get a client in the seat this week that you weren't going to have otherwise?
Message them.
Okay. Who are you messaging?
What are you gonna say?
And all of my previous clients, even if they were just like, oh, I'm just doing it for a special occasion, message them anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
Individually. I'm a big fan of like not automating it.
Yeah.
I'll automate some stuff. I'm not gonna like live my life writing notes, but like, yeah. Can I talk about the critique that Hannah gave you the other day?
Go for it.
Okay. So Hannah saw one of Michal's social media posts, and so both Hannah.
So embarrassing.
No, it's incredible. So both Hannah and Michal do student diaries or mentor diaries for Monaco, and we have a group chat where we all work together on each other's captions and like positive critiques and stuff. And Hannah saw one of Michal's own posts for her own social media in a community group, and then came into our chat to be like, okay, this is content relevant, but this sucks. Which she said in the nicest way possible, which for Hannah, being quite a blunt person, is pretty much exactly as I said it. But the thing is that, so here's the reason I want to bring it up is because I think it's a learning thing for everybody, is that Michal, when creating content for Monaco, we're so focused on like our avatar and having a good like first few words to capture attention and stuff. But Michal's first 5, which is just like a slang term for first 3 to 8 words, her first 5 was looking for a good local nail tech, and Hannah was like, I don't even care.
It wasn't even that fancy. It was just looking for a nail tech.
No, it used the word local. I remember it did, because that's
yeah.
it did use the word local. And
But not good.
Hannah's critique, whatever, with love, was that she had seen so many other local nail techs post that same day, and she's like, you're not standing out, and I want you to stand out, like I want you to succeed. And so then what I said was, like, everybody's looking for a local nail tech, like who even cares? But what is your avatar looking like? What are you offering that they're not offering, kind of thing? So what did you take away from that, or were you just like embarrassed? I don't think it's embarrassing. I think it was.
Well, I went and checked after she said that she had seen 3 other people post. That's not true. There was only one other person that posted, and yeah, they posted photos of themselves in PJs, but they posted after I had posted, because I had posted.
Okay, Captain
so
Defensive.
So like I'm like, well, at least they felt like they had to say something, because no one has said anything about nail techs in the last couple of weeks, which is
So
why I
what
was like,
is your point of difference from the nail techs in your town? What is your avatar looking for that they're not offering?
yeah. Put me on the spot. They're looking for someone that's creative, gentle, like someone that doesn't ruin their nails, someone that's like a home-based salon and not the only one in town that like people know ruins your nails and they'll go to if like it's the only time that they like can go. my idea was just to like pop up and remind people that I'm here, because like I have posted in the past with photos of me and my work and my salon and my space. So it was just like here's a reminder, like I'm here.
A reminder requires the algorithm to have shown them the posts that you put up in the past.
Yeah. I would, like, when you're trying to promote yourself, right, you have a very safe space, is the way I would put it.
I think gentle and calm, like, yeah, that
Yeah.
same vibe.
You have a like the color tones in your salon are what? Soft pinks, natural wood. Like, you're coming to me for a calm experience. I'm going to take care of you and I'm going to pamper you, which you're not going to get at the mall down the road.
Yeah,
Like,
and you're not going to get it like in the local shops with all people walking past. There's no walk-ins. Like, this is your calm, quiet, private space to just chill the fuck out.
yeah, this is just you and me. You have my full attention the whole time, and I am doing my absolute all to make sure that you walk out of here feeling relaxed, feeling calm, and happy with the service that I have provided.
Yeah.
Like, if I were you, I would be using the photos of your space. Like, I think, and we might be wrong, but our impression of your avatar is the same. Like, mine and Alicia's impression is the same. So if we're both wrong, that means all your marketing so far is wrong, because we've both got the same impression. But so if I were you, I would be trying to get the avatars or the clients who just need calm, get away from their kids, get like away from the demand of running a household or work or whatever. And I would be posting photos of your space every single time with photos of nails, and then being like, the music is on, the candles are lit, I've got the coffee ready, come and get your nails done.
Yeah.
Like, that's the difference is, yeah. I have the calm space. It's ready. Picture yourself in it, because I'm showing it to you and I'm describing it to you.
Yeah. I guess like my thought behind are you looking for a like was because that is literally words that they like will that posting in the community page. Like they'll be like, who nail tech? So I was just like, I'm just giving your words and put it in.
There is an element to repeating their words back to them, but that's not targeting the avatar who's going to stick with you for the next 10 years and pay you $3 weekly for the next 10 years. That is because if those people were diehard nail people, they wouldn't be posting looking for a local nail tech, or they would, but they would then be clicking through and looking for which local nail tech suits everything that they want. So when you do post, like how you were saying, like it's a reminder, you have to assume in a community group that they are all cold audience, which we've got a whole episode on if anyone missed it. But like cold being that they've never seen you before, warm being they already follow you, and hot being they've already booked with you. If you're posting in a community group, it's not for the warm people because they see your posts. It's not for the hot people because they're already booked in. It's for the cold people. So it's not a reminder. It's an introduction.
Yeah.
And
always.
You've got one chance to make an impression and be like, this is me and this is why I'm different. And you're going to grab people that weren't even thinking about getting their nails done. But yeah, I think your thing this week is to message all of your old clients and be like, hey, just letting you know, since you've been in before, that I am starting to book up from now till Christmas. So if you want special occasion nails before Christmas, please let me know so I can make sure that as a VIP who's been to me before, you get the best spot.
Yeah.
You look disheartened.
Yeah, don't stress. I can see like the internal stress coming out.
It's external at this point.
I can't hide my face is a very visual communication.
Michal is the most perfectionist on the planet. So anything that is not you did perfect, great job is instantly like devastating to her.
And it probably doesn't help that Penny and I will just tell you how it is.
Somehow you end up with us and like Hannah, like how are you surrounded by unfiltered, like straight up people?
But you forget I am also like I can be blunt. Like I am also Dutch. Like that's me. But I guess compared to you guys, it doesn't much.
Yeah, I mean, I would, take what you want from it. And I think when you get constructive feedback or constructive criticism in your case from Hannah, you know, take it with a grain of salt as well. Like, take what you want from it. Don't let it dishearten you. And just think of how much that advice is going to improve your business.
Yeah.
Especially when you're first starting out. There are all things we do wrong. I remember sitting on the floor of the first salon I worked at and crying my eyes out because I took like 3 hours to do a set of acrylics. And I was very lucky to have an awesome boss at the time who came in and just gave me the best advice on how to manage that. And I think that's where I get the bluntness from now is, you know, take it all in, figure out what you need to do. If you're a list person, write out your next steps and figure out how you're going to improve the ways of your marketing or your services or whatever it is, and take all the advice you can, because there's so many of us out there who are willing to help and we want to see everyone succeed, right?
Yeah.
And let me tell you that I'm 2 weeks away from 18 years in the industry, and yesterday I sat and beat myself up about something. So as soon as you described that, Alicia, I was like, wow, that was me yesterday, because I did a 3.5 hour set and it was beautiful and the client was happy and she paid for the 3.5 hours. It was a $290 thing. She was stoked as, no issues. And for the next like 6 hours, I was like, how could I have done that faster? And I couldn't have.
No. Yeah.
It was detailed and it was a backfill of stiletto acrylics with art, and 2 of them she liked and then wanted redone because she, as we were doing the others, she's like, wait, I think I want this different. And I was like, okay, but, and she's like, I'll pay for it. Like, I'm aware you did it. I approved it. I loved it. I just, if you have time, I want to pay you to change this. So I did 12 nails of art and a backfill of stilettos. Like, I couldn't have done it faster, but yeah, it gets easier, but it doesn't get easier.
No, and you're going to keep having moments like that throughout your entire career. And we can beat ourselves up about it. But in the end, I think it's really honorable that we all want to hear advice, because we can be like Penny, who's 18 years in the industry, and we still want to learn new things. And a lot of people don't do that. They get stuck in their ways and they don't want to hear it. And how are you going to grow?
And also, Michal, specifically, if you sucked, we would be like, you know what you could do this week? A course. Instead, we're like, you know what you've got going for you is creativity and a space and a vibe, and like, let's show it to people. Like, that is, even if we say it in a blunt way, that is such a high praise of everything you're already doing right, for us to be like, okay, the only thing you need to do now is show people.
Yeah.
All right. With that done and dusted, before Michal hates us both, before you disappear, like our page or follow the podcast so that you don't miss the next episode. We will be back next week, but until then, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by searching Monaco Nail Academy, or follow our salons. Mine is Hard Lacquer NZ.
Mine is Adorn Nail Boutique.
And mine is Straight Up Nails NZ.
Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.